You all know the efforts that the bidding committee have put in to get us into the position that we're in today, about a week away from the December 11th decision for Saudi to host the FIFA 2034 World Cup. And it gives me great honor and it's a privilege to introduce the man behind the bidding committee. And really just if we can get a round of applause for Mr. Hammad Albalawi.
Hello, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Good to see you.
See you too. Just before we get started, there's a video that the team has put together. We'll take a look at it and then we'll get into the questions. Video, please. Just the last words of what the commentator was saying at the end of that clip, Mustahil laysa Saudi, impossible is not Saudi. And I think that's a position that you and your team have put us in today. I mean, it was a dream to be in this position where we are a week away from hearing the news that Saudi will host the World Cup in 10 years' time. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I don't know if half an hour is going to be enough with you. Nevertheless, something happened last week, Hammad, at 3 a.m. And one of your team members told me that the number 419.8 will forever live with you as long as you're alive. Can you tell us the significance of that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for being here. Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure to have you here in our country. We love welcoming guests, so it's a real pleasure to see you here today. It was a very important day. We worked very hard to get to that point. The number 419.8 is a number that will forever live in our memories because it is the greatest of all time of bid books that have been submitted to FIFA. That achievement has come primarily through merit and of course is a result of the guidance and leadership of our country, the custodian of the two holy mosques and the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, the Prime Minister, who have launched a vision in 2016 that I don't think even ourselves realize how important it was to the point of where we are today. This vision is a vision of remarkable transformation. It is a vision that has allowed us to achieve in so many areas, and we're seeing and reaping the results of that vision. So an ambitious vision, a very clear vision, guidance and enablement of leadership makes it quite easy for us to be fulfilling our dreams and achieving the best ever. So in many ways, this is a natural result, a natural next step to achieve that significant result. But in another way, of course, it shows the meticulous planning that we have, the belief we have in ourselves. This is a bid developed by Saudis to the world, a bid that we're very proud of, a bid that has so much plans behind it, and that is recognized by FIFA, and hopefully in the next few days gets confirmed so that we can officially say that inshallah we will host the World Cup in 2034.
What was your reaction, if you can take us back to your early days of involvement, or right in the beginning, the first day you heard of our bid and your involvement in it? What was going through your mind at the time, and what was that experience like?
Sorry.
I thought you wanted to join us. Yeah, early, yeah.
So, you know, there was a point where, of course, the situation was clear that there would be an opportunity for us to submit our letter of interest. At that point, we, of course, wanted to build our capabilities, build our capacity to be able to deliver something that we would be essentially proud of. Of course, you don't always wake up and work towards hosting the World Cup. You don't always wake up working towards achieving your dream. Because of that, we're forever grateful. We're in a position of great privilege, but also a position of great responsibility. I'll honestly tell you, Muhammad, that when we started as a team, as a collective, putting the core team together, and I remember the very first team meeting, and I said, the challenge won't be to satisfy the FIFA requirements. The challenge will be, how do we do justice to 32 million people that live in our country and make them proud of a bid book that they will look at and feel very proud of? And that's a major and significant challenge. Of course, the FIFA guidelines, the FIFA requirements are important. And of course, we would look at them very meticulously and try to satisfy all of the details. But our primary objective was to do something we would be forever grateful and forever proud of. And inshallah, cometh the 11th of December, our ambition is for us to achieve that objective.
When you hear of children, young boys and girls who are looking at what life would be like them 10 years down the line, these 13, 14-year-olds, and they're so excited by the prospect that you and I didn't have when we were 13 and 14 because we weren't in the running to host a World Cup. But these 13, 14-year-olds have it today, and they're going to be 23, 24 in 10 years. What's your message to them as we embark on this journey?
I mean, I look directly at Saleh there, who, if you remember, was in part of the Saudi delegation that submitted the bid book to FIFA in Paris. And I remember the conversations we first had when this became apparent that we were going to do this. We were going to take two of the 13 to 16-year-olds that are the future of Saudi football and have them represent the boys and girls that are fellow colleagues of them in different training centers around the country and present it, because we believe in the fact that we're doing this for the next generation. And the conversations we had around, you know, this is massive. You're taking something that is significant, representing yourself, but also representing the generation. Like you said, we didn't have that opportunity. But we would forever look for that generation, and then the generation after that. I have two kids, and I look in the eyes of my two daughters, and I try, we all try to create a better world for them. So this is essentially about them, about creating better futures for them. So this is what the World Cup is. This is what the World Cup hopes to achieve.
It would be a long conversation to ask you what the challenges were along the way, and I'm sure there have been numerous challenges. Is there one that maybe you are most proud of overcoming, one where from afar you were like, oh, how are we going to get over this? But then you and your team persevered and got over that specific challenge?
Yeah, I mean, the challenges are many on a bidding journey, but just to understand the scale of this project, because it is significant. We received the FIFA regulations on the 5th of December, and we had 6 months to basically start developing our ideas into what then becomes the final bid presentation or the final bid book that we would submit. This effort included assessments, analysis, recommendations, leadership we need to engage with, but it also includes 200 stakeholders that we need to connect with, align on the requirements, understand the details of them, try to fit them in on some of their business as usual projects or existing pipeline. And that sheer effort that needs to take place is significant. So although a challenge on the surface, when it started, and this is what is unique about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because when it started and we started to engage with all of these 200 public sector entities, and there is a significant part with private sector engagement, we found united vision, we found a united desire, we found a commitment to do whatever it needs, whatever we need to do to satisfy the requirements, but also to do what is required beyond, whilst also keeping an eye on the future to do what's right for them, for their projects. And that was significant. And the second part of it was, of course, making sure that the eventual requirements that we put in have the meticulous planning behind them, and submitting them in a way that gives FIFA the ability to assess. And you will find this unique, I have, because when I spoke to one of our colleagues after the score came out, of course we were very proud in the immediate instance, but in the next day, he called for a meeting with one of the teams that were responsible on one of the areas within the technical requirements. And I observed this meeting. And the first thing he said was, "Congratulations, we won, but why didn't we score higher?" He said, we outscored overall. He said, "Yeah, but we could have done more." And I think this shows you how much that we are driven to achieve the best we can. And we want to seize this opportunity that we're in.
Your first World Cup was in Germany, 2006. Say if you bump into someone in an elevator here, or if you're on a journey with him and he asks you, what can we expect from a 2034 World Cup in Saudi? In 1 or 2 minutes, what's your immediate reaction to that question?
Like you said, I think my first World Cup experience was in 2006. I remember in Germany meeting all the fans. I remember meeting the Ecuadorian fans more specifically. And how fun and engaging that was, meeting people from different cultures. I don't think there would be an opportunity that presents itself. Maybe those who are in this room that work in football are blessed, because football does this. Football gives you the opportunity to connect with other cultures, but you don't find this typically. So I think what's unique is trying to find an experience that engages fans. What's unique is about creating state-of-the-art stadiums that change the live viewing experience for fans in stadium. What is important also is to ensure that there is a seamless experience for the participating teams. What we're trying to do in Saudi Arabia is to bring more teams and more fans in one place than ever before. And that is by no means feat. So I think there are many, many objectives that we will have to try to take the World Cup to the next level in each individual area. And we're driven to do that beyond, inshallah, December the 11th.
Inshallah. 2 things that strike me that are unique. Before I get into that, I was told by the team that if you scan this QR code, you get a beautiful picture like Hammad's that is decorated with the branding of the 2034 bid. So for those who'd like to scan, now is your opportunity.
So today we launched this initiative as we count down to December the 11th to what we call this initiative, Join the Squad. And it's for people to join in. And the Saudi Arabia bid is a very significant bid. It's a very unique bid. And this is our invitation to everyone who wants to join the squad, who wants to be part of the bid, who wants to celebrate what the bid has, to be part of that. So we look forward to everyone in this room and also those beyond these walls to celebrate and count down the next few days and join the squad.
Love it. Love the initiative. two things that stood out for me from afar when I visited the beautiful auditorium. The bidding zone. What's the official name of that area?
The exhibition.
The exhibition. Two things stuck out to me. First thing is that there are 4 host cities. If I'm not mistaken, in retrospect, it was maybe closer to 8 or 9. So I wanted to just pick your brain on why the 4. Second thing is 48 teams will be participating in the 2034 World Cup for the first time. So first thing, the zones question, and how do you react to 48 teams participating in the World Cup?
So just a correction, 5 host cities for the bid. Riyadh, Jeddah, Al-Khubar, Abha and Neom. And this is the scale of the tournament that we're trying to secure in the next week or so, is to try to bring all of the 48 teams into one place. But I'd like to take you back just a few years, because those of you who are from Saudi Arabia will probably recognize this. History is a great indicator of the future. And if we look at Saudi football history, there's a great case study to understand. In the 1970s and the 80s, it was the first time in our country where we took significant investment into sports. Most of the clubs that you see today, the facilities that you see today, the stadiums that you see today were built in that era. And in the 90s, we saw the return on investment. The Saudi national team was the best ever. We reached the 21st in the FIFA ranking. We won the Asian Cup 3 times. We reached the final the 2 other times. We were a top football nation. After the turn of the millennium, the investment went into other areas. It's great. I'm a result of some of this area because of the investment in education meant that I was able to get a scholarship to study abroad, and many others too. In 2016, as part of the launch of the vision, sports was once again a priority. So it went back up the pecking order, if you like, and became a national priority, which means we are investing back into sports. Since the 90s, our population has tripled. So you take all of the facilities that were built in those 20 years, and the population has tripled, and the same set of facilities are serving the same, a growing demand. And then you add on top of that the growth of women's football. 3 years ago, there were 0 girls playing football in school because the facilities weren't there. Today, the facilities are there. And in 2 years after the facilities were built, we have over 80,000 girls playing football. We have 3 divisions in women's football, and that's growing. So you have a population that's tripled, you have 50% of your society that is now being an active part of football, and you have the same facilities. So the World Cup bid is a representation of our commitment to ensure that we have the right supply that meets the appropriate demand that's in Saudi Arabia. And that means that we will have the capability, inshallah, to host the largest format of the tournament ever in a single nation.
Inshallah. Obviously, headlines for the league, the signings that we've seen over the past 2-3 years, household names that, well, really we never expected would play in Saudi, and that's a fact today. They do play in Saudi. For the question of how does that all translate to a strong football squad that come 2034, the federation has done enough to put a team that can compete, that can, inshallah, get out of the group the way we did in '94. What plans are being put in place to see the same investment that we're putting in our league, but maybe get some dividends of that on the national team come 10 years from now?
I think it helps to be in a room with so many people that understand football, because we all understand that the league is one part of the ecosystem you need to develop. You need to develop your grassroots football. You need to develop accessibility to this game also when it comes to play a pathway, give them the right facilities, the right technology for them to grow, and you need a strong league. And I think our commitment is today with the national sports strategy is to be able to recognize what we need to do in all areas. What's happening in the league is, as you mentioned, great. I think it's great at getting more exposure. The top stars are rubbing shoulders with their Saudi peers. They're pushing them to new limits they weren't at before, and that's going to generate a great enhancements in their performance over the course of the next few years. But even if you look at the grassroots football, a few years ago, we didn't have any regional training centers by the Football Federation. Today, we have 25 regional training centers. These training centers are linked into 100 schools around the kingdom. 100 schools with PE teachers that are now certified as active scouts in identifying the talent, making sure that there is a pathway for every talent to go from their school into their regional training center And then the link from the regional training center with the clubs who have the academies, ensuring they have a clear pathway to get into the clubs, into the academies, and so on and so forth. I think a lot has been made of the league, but I think there's so much happening even beyond the league, developing grassroots, youth football, and so on. Another number that I want to share with you, number of certified coaches has gone from a number which was around 2,000 to today over 5,000 certified coaches. 1,000 of them are women. And that growth that we're seeing across the spectrum in the ecosystem is essential when we talk about the new generation.
Your message to Saudis who want to contribute to a successful World Cup in any capacity, those who are excited, who want to contribute, what would be your message to them?
I was just speaking earlier, I think this is a beautiful platform, so thank you to the World Football Summit for choosing Riyadh as a destination, because it allows all of us opportunities to engage, create partnerships. Saudi is open for business. Opening for business does not mean the World Cup bid alone. The clubs are open for business. They're looking at new ways to partner and create. If you look at the Saudi Pro League, they're here. They're open for having these conversations and looking for partnerships on how they can enhance and develop. Grassroots, women's football. The Saudi Football Federation recently launched the research center, Safir, which is an innovative, one-of-its-kind concept that is taking football research into new levels. So I think there's a bit of everything for everyone. So for the young Saudis, whether you choose you want to take a pathway to as a player, today you have an opportunity to do that through your schools, through the regional training centers, through the academies. Whether you want to be part of the technical team, there are technologies today. There are academies today like Mahd and what's happening in MISC, where they're looking at data science, they're looking at player performance and seeing how they can improve and enhance the player performance of pitches on and off the pitch. And I think that represents opportunity for people, especially from outside Saudi Arabia, to look at Saudi as a great opportunity. So I think the opportunity is there, and I think the connections through platforms like this make it possible and quicker and more effective.
I see how you operate within the bidding committee. You run a tight ship. Are you content today? Are you happy? Are you hungry? Where is Hammad right now? Take us into your mind for a second as we gear up to December 11th.
Grateful is something that we are always grateful for this enablement, grateful for the Vision 2030, grateful for the reforms that have been taking place since the launch of the Vision. I'll share with you one anecdote. I remember the launch of the Vision, and I remember the 3 pillars that were launched as part of this Vision. And I remember seeing vibrant society, thriving economy, and I get those, very straightforward. I remember looking at the 3rd one, ambitious nation. And it took me some time to really understand, what is this trying to achieve? And you mentioned the day that I was asked to be part of this bid team. And, I grew up as a person that loved football. I played Football Manager on my computer. My brother is there. We managed to beat him more often than not. So we all had ambitions, but they were some sort of ambitions that weren't unleashed. What the Vision has done, it's unleashed the dreams of all Saudis. We're all achieving our dreams in every area, and that's an ambitious nation. So very grateful for the Vision that has allowed us to do this. And very proud of the effort we put in. We are the best ever bid. It's a fact. That is on merit. That is a fact. And we will be very proud in submitting our bid on December the 11th, and we'll be very, very honored to host this tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Hammad Albalawi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we let you go, there's one video.
Yeah.
That should be on in 3, 2. you so much.
Thank you.
I mean it. Thank you.